Hey YouTube, it's a beautiful day in Pennsylvania. Sunny day, looks like there's a bank of clouds over to this, let's see, that would be the southwest. So we got to see what happens. I thought I would show you this. I used to have a 4-cylinder Vermeer chipper, and it was a good chipper, it was a self-feeder and stuff, but I gotta tell you, my liability insurance I think doubled when I bought the gosh darn thing, because they're so dangerous. You know, guys that are not really watching what they're doing can really get hurt with one of them self-feeders. So I bought this. It was on eBay, a Wood Pro. I think this thing's made in Germany. I gotta tell you, it's made really well. I've been using this for years around my property just to keep things cleaned up. And it really seems to work good. I've had virtually no problems with it. So I haven't started it yet for, oh boy, this is today. When I start it up today, it'll be the first time in about 3 months or better, maybe even 6 months. But the nice thing about it is it does a heck of a job in chipping. It's got this fold down table here, or hopper, that works really good. There's some rubber straps in there to keep the stuff from flying back at you. This is not a self-feeder, and when you feed this you want to stand like right in this neck of the woods right here, close to it. And it has a 16 horsepower Briggs Vanguard engine on it, which seems to work good. It's a V-twin. I put this jack on. It had a thing with a bunch of holes in it, a perforated tube that you had to pull in and pull out a pin. But the problem with it is when you pick this up, I mean, I can pick it up, but I got to use 2 hands to pick it up. It's heavy. It's probably at the tongue end there. Man, I would probably say it's close to 200 and some pounds maybe. It's heavy. But anyway, I put it on the truck. It's not made for highway towing. So when I take it somewhere that it's not close by, I'll put it on a trailer or something and take it, especially when I have the backhoe that I can unload it. Little gas tank here. The hitch I have in the back, I usually drag a trailer with it. I'll hook it to the 4-wheeler, drag it with the 4-wheeler, put a trailer on here and drag the trailer, and then put the trailer in front of the end throwing out the chips, and then I can put them wherever I want to in the yard. But I want to get rid of these pine branches that are here, so I'm going to run them through, and I'm going to save the chips. I'm throwing them onto the back of the truck so that I can put them somewhere over by my place when I get over there, especially around the mill where right now things seem to be getting pretty muddy. So you can adjust the head on it. It has some nice features, like if you open this whole thing swings open and you can get at the wheel at it. I think I'll open that up so you can see it. And the nice thing about it is there's a switch on here that shuts it's right there. There's a switch on here that when you open this, it shuts this thing off automatically. So yeah, you can see I didn't clean it out last year. Well, it's all dried out. So there's a big wheel here. You know, to guess, I would guess it's a 24-inch diameter wheel. Just guessing now. It's not tech specs here, but I sharpen the blades about once a year, so they're not exactly due, but probably good enough to do the pine. There's 2 blades on there, and it doesn't work bad. These angle irons on the back here create the wind to blow them out, to blow the chips out. So every now and then have to open it up because it does get clogged up sometimes, especially if there's wet stuff in it. But it's no big deal. You just, you know, disconnect or disengage the drive to the wheel, let it slow down a little, and then go ahead and keep chipping. So, like I say, it's a nice little chipper. I like it. It can handle a 4-inch log. Now, You know, that depends on what you're talking about here. If you're talking about hickory, I would say 2-inch. If you're talking about pine, it'll definitely take a 4-inch pine branch or whatever and, you know, do what it needs to do to it. I try not to put anything bigger than 3 inches in if I can help it. And usually, you know, with hardwood, that's firewood, so I don't chip firewood. But this pine, all of it's going to be chipped. Some of it's going to be too big to chip. That stuff we'll just have to throw back to nature. But yeah, so as far as maintenance goes on it, like I say, there's the gas tank. Now on each side of the wheel there's 2 grease zerks, one there. Let's see, the sun's in my eyes here, one here. So what I do is I grease it every time I put gas in it. Now naturally this morning the tank's only half full and my cans of gas are totally empty, so I'm hoping Jim's going to show up so I can send him for gas if he'll go for me. He probably will. So I'm going to grease this thing and get it started. I'll show you how it works then. Well, you guys know I'm a fan of ether. I forgot the can this morning, so I had to dump a little gas in the carburetor to get it going. But it went in 3 pulls, so it's a good little motor and everything on there. There's a clutch on the other side that you engage the wheel, which I just threw. And now you'll see some of the branches go through. It actually works good. that's what you want to be able to get the shoe to work good. The same as downhill, the shoe to work good is even better. But this is the lever for the engage the motor to the foot for the wheel to spin around, for the cutter.
One of the things that I see a lot of times is that when people cut the branches off, they leave these little nubs sticking. Now something like that right there that I can kick off, I don't care about that. But like this one here and that one right there, I don't like that. And if somebody brings me a tree like this with the branches sticking out all over the place, I don't give them the full amount for the tree. I'll deduct an hour of my time or my people people's time if it's a bigger operation, I'll deduct it off of them. The heck with it. Either that or they bring somebody here with a chainsaw and trim them nubs off of there, because that's a lot of nonsense. So what you want to do is, like I've done there, trim them down to within, you know, at least a reasonable thing. I mean, it's hard sometimes in the position you're in to get a square cut, but like at least I'm down to the tree here. On that side I'm about an inch high. That's not a big deal. It's when they're 2 and 3 inches sticking out all over the place. All that does is cause trouble. You can't walk by it, you can't turn it, you can't hook it up right without tearing up everything. So you're better off if you trim them branches really close to the tree the first time and get it over with. I don't have much to go yet, a little bit there and I'm right by the truck, so I can start throwing this into the chipper. Ooh, my age is showing up here. Okay guys, so I got you up close and personal here because I want to show you something that I watch every new logger. I guess you shouldn't call them loggers, it's a slap in the face to real loggers. I don't consider myself a real logger, but I know how to do something. Let me just show you. When you're cutting branches, now if you look, this branch is completely off the ground all the way to the end. So when you go to cut that, or any branch while you're delimbing, you want to watch if the cut opens or not. If the cut starts to go close, even a tiny bit, you got to get the saw out of there or you're going to get pinched. And when you're by yourself, which I don't recommend, that I am today, there's no way to get the saw out. So unless you go get another saw. So let me just show you what happens here. So that branch is up off the ground and it's just hanging there. So it's gonna, all of that branch is gonna do is fall down. So when you're cutting, cut close to the tree. See how the branch cuts down? And that one just fell off. You gotta be careful. Sometimes if the end of the branch is on the ground, you don't know if there's tension on it. So I can cut this off and the branch may fly back at me. You gotta be able to read that like I told you about reading a logger. It can't. This next one is doing the same thing, although, I don't know if you can see over there, there's a little branch that's down on the ground there, so I'm not sure what that one's going to do, so I'm going to be careful with it. I'm going to start to cut through it and see if it starts to close. If it doesn't, get the saw out right away. Now if you, let me get this salt. If you look at this, you can see this side over here starting to tighten up. So that means what you want to do is stop cutting. There's tension on this pushing that direction. I got sawdust in my mouth. So what I'm going to do now is I'm halfway through there, it started closing. I'm going to cut from the bottom. And I'm going to cut carefully because I don't know if it's just going to push or not. Judging by the way it's laying, I don't think it will. I'm going to go by my instincts and see what happens with it. I'll keep you turned on here. You see how that's twisting? Alright, so push down, push this way very little and then down, so we're good with that. Here's another one, same thing, it's going to fall over by itself. Now this next one has weight on it. There's weight on that tree, or that branch there, so it's going to go down. Okay, from what I can see now. Remember what I told you, you gotta watch what you're doing. opening up, the cut's real wide there, so that's safe to cut all the way through. It's nice if you have a partner who will pull these branches away from the tree at least 3 feet so you can walk. Right now I'm having a hard time getting. Show a definite pinch, and I want you to see it. Okay, so we're talking about this branch right here. Now you can tell just by looking at it that it has some stress on it here, going this direction. Okay, in other words, it's pulling up here. So if I cut that branch from the top, now that's only a small branch, so even if my chainsaw got stuck in there, I could probably pull it out. But I just want to show you how the mouth of it will shut as you're going. See how that is moving up? Now it's closing up there. Now because it's so small, I can just cut right through this. But if it's a bigger branch, and it tightens up on the blade, you're not going to get it out of there. So what you do then, is when you see it close like that, come in from the bottom, okay? I can tell you for certain that this is going to tighten up here. I don't even know if it's going to hit the camera, but just watch what happens here. Now I'm watching this right here very, very closely. See, it's opening up. It's not closing. So that means that this log has some up pressure on it here. So you'll continue to cut straight down there, but you got to be careful. If it starts twisting one way or the other, you may have to back away from it. Okay, so that just broke up there clear. One of the other things, you see this here? If you're cutting like for ornamental trees or whatever, my uncle was in the landscaping business, and when I worked for him, he taught me to make an undercut first before you cut a branch off. And what that does is it causes the branch to break off rather than tear off. Okay, so for this kind of work, it doesn't matter. I hope all the bark falls off. But the point is, if you're working in somebody's yard on an ornamental tree of some kind, and you're trimming it, you may want to just undercut a little bit and then cut from the top down so that the branch breaks off. Boy, that's a beautiful log, man. I can't wait to get over there. The smallest part here is a foot, so I can get a lot of lumber out of this. So we're pretty much delimbed on that tree. So I'm going to start doing some more chipping, so I'm going to move you out of here. Guys, one of the other things that I'll say, here, when you're delimbing a tree, don't start at that end. Now you saw me down there, that's because that's where the truck is, that's where the chipper was. You don't want to start at that end, that's really not the place to be. What you want to do, you want to start down at the stump end and work your way up the tree, because those branches are aiming upwards to gather sun as they grow, and they'll sort of give you the end that's against the tree is going to be closer to you. Up here, when you're cutting, the brush, got a hook pick up attack. Up at this end of the tree, the bushy end of the branches is closer to you, and it's a nuisance to try to walk through. I only did it because I was right there, the chipper's right there, but still it's not the best way. That's why I decided to go down to the end and do it the way I know is best. So, okay. Guys, one of the other things, cutting branches to go into a chipper, I don't care how big the chipper is, don't make square cuts. Try and cut the branch that you're going to put into the chipper like this. What that does is it gives the chipper a chance to pull it in there nice and slow. Not really slow, it grabs a hold of it fast, but it gives it a chance to get going rather than putting that whole blunt end in there. Notice I cut this one on like on an angle there. That's where you're looking. Now some of the smaller ones, it's not something like this. For that chipper anyway, it needs, a diameter, even maybe 2 inches or something. When you start getting up into 3 and 4 inches for a small chipper like this, you want to cut them on an angle. Even for this little homeowner chipper, that's a little tip to help them run, to help them get to feed the wood in better and not clog up. Another battery went in, so I'll just recap what I said before until I edit this and see what happens. But anyway, you want to keep cleaned up around here as best you can so there's no tripping hazards. You want to cut the branches on an angle instead of a straight cut, especially on something for this chipper 3 inches or bigger. You want to cut it on an angle cut. It only can take about 4 inches anyway. So, just be careful with it. That's all I can tell you at the moment. getting a little tired, so I'm going to take a break for a couple of minutes and just sit in the sun for a while. It's a nice that I can do that. I can't put in a good day's work anymore. Anyway, we're getting there. Everything's down on the ground, so just got to cut it, make some more cuts and stuff, and should be in good shape. If nothing else, I'll tell you, the aroma of that pine is fantastic. Guys, the one thing on this chipper here is that there's no brake on the wheel. So what you hear there is the wheel spinning. The motor's off, but the wheel spins for, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes for after you disengage the clutch here. So you want to be careful, you know, you don't stick your hands or nothing down in there. When you look at the seam where this thing is welded together, you can get your hands pretty far down in there, so you want to be careful, you know, when you're reaching in there to pull stuff out. Should really shut it off and everything, and that's the best way to be. The safest way. What they're showing here with gloves, and I may as well go over this a little, you shouldn't have gloves with cuffs, and that's why I wore a sweatshirt today. You guys know I like those flannel shirts, but you know, if you have buttons and stuff and openings, it's easy to get grabbed. So this here is more tighter around you, gives you a better thing. There's no buttons on me here to get caught or nothing. So like I say, you know, when you're loading a chipper, this is the safest place to be, on this side here. Push it in, do not go past that chute for nothing. Okay, even if you drop your wedding ring in there or whatever, your wallet, let it go. Just consider it chips. But the point here is that this thing can be dangerous. It'll cut your fingers off in a heartbeat. I mean, you can see what it's done to that big pine tree. It's reduced it practically down to nothing. I mean, the branches. So you want to just be careful. I have all kind of signs on this thing. They didn't come from the factory. When I had the Vermeer, those people are really nice. They sent a video and a whole bunch of stickers, so I just stuck them on this thing because the other machine already had stuff on it from when I first bought it. But yeah, Wood Pro. Wood Pro's the name, and I'll tell you, if you can find one of these used, then take a look at it. If it's not in too bad a shape, I mean, you can always replace the motor. This thing, I love this thing because it's small. It's portable, easy to get around. You're not killing yourself. It doesn't weigh a ton. It's a little hard to back it up, although the chute there, if you have it extended, you can see out the window, and as long as the chute is straight along the edge this way, you're going straight with it. So that's the good thing. Yeah, so here we go. You can see that we've got a lot more to go yet, but at least we got one tree down. That one over there is all finished, that smaller one. So we're gonna handle this big one, and then I'm gonna decide how I want to cut it up. So there's a lot more stuff to throw in here. Like I say, I'm taking a break. So now you get a chance to see what I'm doing with these chips. From right here, the driveway from here all the way out the opposite way is all stone. Since this is really not a driveway here, it's just more or less a walkway, I put this down so that in the springtime when the snow's finally gone, you'll be walking on this instead of on mud, because it gets muddy every year. One truckload of this is not enough to get all the way up to the other end. So probably till I'm finished with that tree that I'm working on, I might have enough chips to get up there. But last year I had come from that way down. I don't do it every year, but I try to do it as often as I can. The chips probably last, oh, I don't know, maybe 3 years. Depends on the rain. If we get a lot of rain, it might wash some of them out. But it's better like this. It makes a nice path to walk on. You know, I like stone. I like to be stone in a lot of places. The problem with the stone is that nothing can grow then after you put the stone down. If I decided to plant all through this strip, you know, trees, I can. And
whatever we want to plant. And naturally something that likes this type of soil would grow really good. Bullseye! Alright, just checking. It's easier to talk than shovel, so I'll talk a little. Every year I usually go around the property. It takes me about a week and pick up branches, and I'll chip them up, put them in a buggy, and I'll put them wherever I need to on our paths. There's a bunch of paths, more than this, and it makes it nice to walk on them, because this way here you can see stuff a lot easier. But, you know, like snakes and stuff, just in case. Makes them easier to see, believe it or not, on this stuff. And if I have help, like with the grandkids come up during the spring and they're around, we'll trim all the trees that have damage or whatever, and I'll chip up all that stuff. If not, I'll just clean up along the path like this and stuff. It makes it a little bit nicer, and keeps me up on which trees are healthy and which trees are not. I want to take my total station one of these days. I was hoping for my one son to help me, but they're off on their own thing. I want to actually make a survey of every tree on the property and put it on a map so I know where they are and everything, and how I can grow other stuff, what would grow best. So that's what I'm looking to do sometime in the future. Haven't done it yet. Working on it. So the other thing is, obviously these chips have not been treated, and I don't know what the story is with chips that are treated or not, if it's just a matter of trying to get all one color for aesthetics purposes, but even these pine chips do not seem to attract ants any differently than like the stone driveway does. So, you know, we put some of these, we'll put these chips in the garden right around the house. Now I do spray every 2 weeks around the house for ants, because we are in the middle of the woods, and the ants do come out for like 3 weeks out of the year, 4 weeks out of the year, and they can be, I think they're trying to live their life, their whole year's life in 3 weeks. So they do come out pretty good, and they're all over the place. Not as bad as they used to be since we've been here and I spray. But I spray around the house every 2 weeks. I'll show you that sometime when I go doing it in the summer. And we don't have no problem with the ants in the house or anything, which is good. But what I was saying is, this stuff is not treated here, and it doesn't seem to matter. It doesn't attract any more of anything just because it's not treated. I want to pull ahead a little more. I'm getting tired today. I guess it's around 2:30 now. I think I've had enough for one day. Okay, you're in now. Come on up on the bench so I don't have to bend over. Thank you. Well, this thing is saying 48, 47, and that's in the sun. I'm just showing you the kiln. It's
March 20th, I believe, or the 18th, 19th, somewhere in there. We got 104 in there, 15% relative humidity. That's wonderful for drying. So stuff's looking good. This whole bottom's already done. That whole pallet over there on that side is done. I could take it out anytime. But the fans are so cheap, I just let it keep running because it'll take on moisture from the outside if you don't. Very good. 104 and 15% relative humidity. Good.